Hello, everyone. Today we're bringing you a story that's not only powerful, but eye-opening. If you're here, you probably love learning through meaningful and impactful stories. We're so glad to have you with us. By the end of this video, you'll have a new perspective on a world so many of us never get to see. Make sure you stick around to hear the full story, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you never miss these incredible learning experiences. For over 70 years, one family has ruled North Korea. It started with Kim Il-sung, then his son Kim Jong-il, and now Kim Jong-un. 3 generations have controlled the lives of 26 million people. While they live in luxury, the people face hunger and suffering. No one can question them. In most countries, when a baby is born, the parents decide their child's name, future school, and career. But in North Korea, the government decides everything from the moment you are born. The first decision is your songbun, a system that determines your social status. If your family is loyal to the government, you get a high songbun, which means better cities, schools, and jobs. If your family's songbun is low, you face a life of hardship and poor treatment, no matter how hard you work. Even more shocking, your songbun depends on what your ancestors did. If your grandfather supported the regime, you may have a good life. But if he spoke out, your entire family could suffer. Your songbun cannot change, even if you never met that ancestor. Now imagine being punished for something your great-grandfather did. This is the level of control. Even what you wear is regulated. In many countries, people can choose their clothing freely. Women can wear jeans or skirts. Men can grow their hair long or shave it. But in North Korea, the government decides how you dress. Women must wear skirts that cover their knees. They cannot wear jeans, short skirts, or tight clothes. If a woman is caught in a tight dress, she can be punished. Makeup is also not allowed. Red lipstick is banned because it is considered a Western influence. There are only 50 approved haircuts for both men and women. Any other style is forbidden. If a man's hair grows longer than the allowed length, the police will stop him. If a woman dyes her hair, she will be punished. Imagine being arrested just for your hairstyle. One woman was caught wearing tight pants in the capital city and was arrested immediately. She was sent to a re-education camp where she did hard labor for months. Her crime? Wearing clothes that were considered too modern. Food, one of life's most basic needs, is also tightly controlled. In most places, people can go to the store and buy what they need. Even in poorer countries, there are choices. But in North Korea, the government strictly controls food. Every family receives a fixed amount of food, called a ration, each month. What you get depends on your songbun. High songbun families may receive rice, eggs, and some vegetables. Low songbun families get only corn and cabbage. Meat is a luxury most North Koreans can never afford. One man who escaped North Korea said his family received only 3 kilograms of rice per month. It wasn't enough to survive, so they mixed it with grass and tree bark to make it last longer. There is a black market where people secretly trade food, but being caught means prison or worse. In most countries, people can think freely, criticize their leaders, read various books, and watch any movies they like. But in North Korea, your thoughts are controlled from birth. Children are taught that the leader is like a god, and they must memorize his speeches. Every home has a government-controlled radio that cannot be turned off. It plays messages from the government all day long. All books, TV shows, and movies are censored. There is no internet. You cannot read news from other countries. Watching foreign movies is a crime. A teenager was caught watching a South Korean drama. What happened? He was executed in front of 10,000 people, and his parents were sent to a prison camp for 15 years. Imagine being killed just for watching a TV show. Secret police are everywhere. Your neighbors, co-workers, or even family members might report you. If someone accuses you of saying something bad about the government, you could vanish overnight. People whisper in their homes, afraid the government might be listening. One woman watched her neighbor taken away in the middle of the night. He was never seen again. His crime? Telling a joke about the leader. In North Korea, your life isn't your own. The government controls what you wear, what you eat, what you say, and even what you think. But this is just the start. The daily life in North Korea hides even more shocking truths. Let's keep going. Every home must have 2 framed portraits on the wall. One of Kim Il-sung, the country's founder, and another of Kim Jong-il, his son and successor. These portraits must always be in perfect condition. Families must never add decorations or hang other pictures on the same wall. Every morning, they are required to clean these portraits carefully. The government even sends inspectors to ensure that the portraits are spotless. If a fire breaks out in your home, your first responsibility isn't to save your family, it's to save these portraits. In one tragic case, a father saved his daughter during a fire, but failed to grab the portraits first. The next day, the government arrested him. His crime? Not protecting the leader's images. North Koreans work long, hard hours, yet their wages are shockingly low. The average monthly salary is just $3 to $5. That's not enough to buy food for even a single week. Many people survive by secretly buying and selling items in illegal black markets. But if caught, they risk losing everything: food, money, and even their freedom. One man worked extra hours at a factory, saving his earnings to buy rice from a black market. When he was caught, the police confiscated his money and sent him to a labor camp. North Korea's prison camps are unimaginable. People are sent there, even for minor offenses. Once inside, prisoners are given almost no food. Their meals consist of a few grains of rice and dirty soup. To survive, they catch rats, frogs, and insects. Some even eat grass and tree bark. One former prisoner described people fighting over a single dead rat because they were so desperate. Another prisoner was severely beaten for attempting to eat grass. Hunger is a constant battle, and survival often comes at a great cost. North Korea's population is roughly 26 million, but over 40% of them don't have enough food. In the 1990s, a severe famine killed millions because the government refused to provide help. Parents had to watch helplessly as their children starved. Meanwhile, the government spent billions on weapons, luxury goods, and grand buildings. Kim Jong-un, the current leader, enjoys a private island, luxury cars, and even his own movie theater. While his people starve, he lives in unimaginable luxury. One escapee shared how the leader dined on steak and expensive wine, while children in his village ate grass and died on the streets. It's hard to believe such inequality exists. Traveling from one city to another, in most countries, is simple. You buy a ticket and go. But in North Korea, you need government permission even for a short trip. Leaving the country is nearly impossible. The borders are heavily guarded, and escape attempts often end in death. One woman tried to flee with her young son, paying smugglers to help her cross into China. Before she could escape, guards caught her, and she was killed in front of a crowd. When a son broke the law, he wasn't the only one punished. He was sent to a prison camp, but his family suffered too. In most places, if you commit a crime, you face the punishment alone. In North Korea, the government enforces a system called 3 generations of punishment. If one person breaks the rules, their parents, siblings, and even children may also be punished. For example, a man caught listening to foreign music received 20 years in a prison camp. But the government also sent his parents and younger brother to prison, just because they were related to him. In another case, when a man escaped to South Korea, the government arrested his entire family, including his grandmother, simply because of his actions. Can you imagine your entire family suffering for something you did? The government controls all media and information. There's no real internet in North Korea. People cannot use Google, YouTube, or social media. Instead, they can only access government-approved websites. Television and radio only broadcast government propaganda. Books are limited to those approved by the state. Reading a foreign book is illegal. In one instance, a young man was caught with a South Korean music video on his USB drive. His punishment was execution. So far, we've seen how people in North Korea live in constant fear, work for nearly nothing, and endure harsh conditions. But what you're about to learn now is even darker. Let's uncover the terrifying punishments in labor camps, the public executions used to spread fear, the propaganda that brainwashes the population, and the shocking truth about what happens to those who dare to speak out. Imagine being caught listening to a foreign song. The police arrest you and send you to a prison camp. There's no trial, no lawyer, no chance to defend yourself. You simply disappear. One of the worst places is Camp 14. Those who enter never leave. Prisoners work from 5 a.m. until midnight. If they move too slowly, they are beaten. They survive on one small meal a day, just corn and dirty water. If they want more food, they must catch rats or insects. A former prisoner, Shin Dong-hyuk, was born inside Camp 14. He didn't even know a world outside the camp existed. His parents were prisoners, and guards forced them to marry. As a child, Shin was made to witness public executions. One day, he saw his own mother and brother killed because they tried to escape. This was his punishment, being forced to watch his family die. Shin eventually escaped, but very few do. Most die of hunger, illness, or torture. In North Korea, imprisonment isn't the only danger. Some are publicly executed. The government uses these executions to instill fear. Citizens are forced to watch as people are killed for breaking the rules. The so-called crimes that can lead to death include watching a foreign movie, owning a Bible, trying to leave the country, or speaking against the leader. For instance, a woman was executed just for handing out Bibles. The government's message is clear. Disobedience leads to death. Why don't the people resist? Why don't they escape? The answer lies in propaganda. The government controls all information and decides what people can see, hear, and believe. From birth, citizens are taught that North Korea is the greatest country in the world. Their leader is like a god, and only the regime can protect them from the dangerous outside world. People are cut off from the outside world. They have no access to real news, no internet, and no foreign books. The government controls all information. TV shows and school lessons are filled with fake stories about other countries. They claim that people in the US, South Korea, and Europe are poor, homeless, and unhappy. The government even sets up fake stores and cities to show visitors a false image of life in North Korea. Everything is a lie. The biggest lie is that the leader, Kim Jong-un, is a god. People are taught that he and his family have special powers. For example, they say that Kim Jong-il never needed to use the toilet because his body was perfect. They claim that Kim Jong-un can control the weather with his emotions. When Kim Il-sung, the first leader, was born, they say a new star appeared in the sky. People are forced to bow before statues of the leaders and cry when they see them. If someone doesn't show enough emotion, they can be punished or even executed. One man was caught sleeping during a speech by Kim Jong-un. He was taken away and never seen again. Kim Jong-un doesn't even trust his own family. In 2017, his half-brother, Kim Jong-nam, was assassinated at an airport in Malaysia on Kim's orders. His crime was speaking against the North Korean government. Kim Jong-un also executed his uncle, Jang Song-thaek, for not showing enough respect. He forced Jang's own family members to watch the execution. In most countries, people can criticize their leaders without fear. In North Korea, if you speak against the leader, you disappear. One man whispered to his friend that Kim Jong-un was not a good leader. Days later, he was taken away by the police and never seen again. A woman was caught listening to South Korean radio. The next morning, she and her entire family were taken away. Some are killed immediately. Others are sent to labor camps where they are beaten, tortured, and starved until they die. This is why no one dares to speak out. People live every second of their lives in fear. You have now heard about the horrors inside North Korea, how people live in constant fear, how labor camps destroy lives, how public executions maintain control, and how Kim Jong-un pretends to be a god while killing his own family. But there's even more to the story. There are secret tunnels and underground networks helping people escape. There's international debate over what to do and why some countries don't want North Korea to change. And there's the biggest secret North Korea tries to hide from the world. This is the most dangerous part of the story. In most countries, if you don't like your government, you can move elsewhere. In North Korea, leaving the country is illegal. Those caught escaping face public execution or are sent to labor camps for life. Their entire families are punished because the government believes in guilt by association. Despite these risks, some still try to escape. To the south lies South Korea, but the border is a heavily guarded, demilitarized zone, the DMZ, filled with landmines, barbed wire, and armed soldiers. To the north lies China, but the rivers are frozen in winter, and guards are trained to shoot anyone trying to cross. The only option is to cross into China illegally, then find a way to reach South Korea or another safe country. However, escaping is not just a matter of crossing a river. Those caught trying to escape face unimaginable punishments. Some defectors, people who escape, have been caught and sent back to North Korea. They have described the horrific torture they endured. They were beaten with metal rods until their bones broke. Their fingernails were pulled out with pliers. They were forced to kneel on sharp stones for hours. Pregnant women, especially those carrying children of Chinese fathers, were forced to have abortions. One teenager, Park Yeon-mi, managed to escape North Korea. However, she later learned that her friend, who had tried to escape with her, was caught and executed in front of her own family. Despite the risks, there are people who still help North Koreans flee. A secret underground network, similar to the Underground Railroad in America, assists North Koreans in crossing into China, traveling through safe routes, and eventually reaching South Korea or other countries. These routes are kept top secret to protect everyone involved. Even with help, escapees often find it hard to trust anyone. Some are lucky enough to make it out alive, while others vanish forever. Believe it or not, there are also groups inside North Korea that fight back against the government. They do this by smuggling outside information into the country. USB drives filled with foreign movies and news are secretly shared among people. Radios are hidden in walls, allowing citizens to listen to South Korean broadcasts. Some groups even use fake money and documents to bribe officials. From South Korea, activists launch balloons over the border filled with leaflets, USB drives, and money. The North Korean government fears these efforts because if people learn the truth, they will stop obeying. That's why getting caught with foreign information can lead to execution. North Korea is so dangerous because its leaders know that once the people awaken to the truth, the dictatorship will fall. People often ask, why doesn't the world help North Korea? Why don't other countries intervene? The answer is complicated. Some nations want North Korea to change, while others benefit from its current state. China secretly supports North Korea as a buffer against US allied South Korea. Russia trades with North Korea to bypass US sanctions. Some powerful nations even use North Korea as an excuse for military spending. Although human rights groups fight to expose the truth, governments tread carefully to avoid starting a war. This is why 26 million people remain trapped in a prison-like state. However, there's one final secret North Korea doesn't want anyone to know. Despite all the fear and control, the people are starting to wake up. More and more are secretly listening to foreign radio. More and more are risking their lives to escape. More and more are losing their fear of the leader. One day, these people may rise up and end the dictatorship. When that happens, the world will finally learn the full truth, the suffering, the lies, the horror, and the incredible bravery of those who fought for freedom. The North Korean government fears only one thing: the people realizing the truth. Once they stop believing the lies, the dictatorship will collapse. Now you know the truth. North Korea is not just a country, it's a massive prison. Its people live in fear, but some are quietly fighting back. The world watches, but political complexities prevent meaningful action. The greatest secret of all is that the people are beginning to wake up. This is one of the most shocking and heartbreaking stories in the world. But the story isn't over, because as long as even one person resists, the dream of freedom lives on. One day, those walls will fall. If this story moved you, share it so the truth can spread. The more people who know, the harder it will be to keep this hidden. If you are watching this now, you are lucky. You can walk outside without fear. You can choose what to wear, what to eat, what to say. You can watch any movie, read any book, and use the internet freely. You can travel, work, and live as you wish. North Koreans don't have these freedoms. So, next time you feel frustrated with life, remember how fortunate you are. Value the freedom you have, because millions of people are still dreaming of it. This was the shocking truth about North Korea. If you want to know more about the dictator himself, how he became the most feared man in the country, how he eliminated his own family members, the secrets of his childhood, and his rise to power. Comment below and let us know. If this story moved you, please share it so others can hear the truth. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and turn on notifications so you won't miss our next powerful video. Together, let's spread awareness and continue to learn from stories that matter.